Hello, Pixlers! Welcome to another one of our videos. Today we're gonna focus on another important topic, and that is Pikurate as a tech company has to eventually build the platform. So I think a lot of the entrepreneurs out there are also in similar situations, especially early on when you have this idea and you need to find people to help you develop it and build it. And maybe you as an entrepreneur doesn't have all the technical expertise to do it yourself. So today we're going to talk or kind of ask Leo his experience in terms of finding the right people to develop Pikurate, as well as his experience and advice he has for people going through that process. So why don't we just get started? For us, we're really looking to find, at that time, a CTO to join us and work with us. And it was difficult, but we had to move forward to build our platform as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Is there certain kind of situations or companies where maybe it's better for them to go outsource first?
Actually, outsourcing is a matter of how well you request. So if you really good to know what you want to do, and then if you really good at create document in very detailed document, maybe you are ready to hire some offshore, any other options. But if you don't know what you want, that's the problem. You thought you know, but technically maybe you cannot describe what exactly you want. In that case, if you hire offshore team, maybe they create something weird, something very, very different what you want.
Like imagine if you were, you're requesting a baker to bake you a cake. And always like, give me a cake, right? And then they give you a cake, but it's not really what you asked for. And I think it's similar for, maybe you're like, I want people to be able to log in with their email, or I want a search bar. But that is very, very general and basic, and there's so many things that complexity that go into building that thing. So if you're not very clear, the dev team will do what they think is the right way, and without you, knowing what that is.
Talking about how to find the good development shop, my answer is research a lot. So if you know more, you can ask right question, and then based on the right question, you can get right answer, and then you can compare which one is better. If you don't know anything about development shop environment, maybe everyone say that I'm the best. We follow best process. We guarantee quality. And as you know, everyone trying to sell their product and service. You have to understand what is the common sense or what is kind of common criteria in the development shop industry. If you understand the criteria, you can easily compare which company has better deal.
Leo, I know you spend a lot of time looking for these companies, and what advice do you have for people out there after you find the one?
Best way is working together as soon as possible. So let's say if you spend 2 months interviewing, maybe spend 1 month and then working together and switch you to the second option. So I think that's better. So I'm gonna explain a little bit detail. Because everyone overly promising they are really good, the only way to understand how good they are is actually working together. So actually working together like 2 weeks, you can understand how they communicate, how can create document, how they deliver their promises, something like that. Before, actually there are some limitation to understand what actually they do. So my advice is working together as soon as possible, and then if you feel bad, just move on. So that's better than spend too much time to understand who is the best.
So you spent 2 months, almost 2 months researching all these outsourced development shops all over the world. Is there some things that you learned during those 2 months?
Yeah, so these days, really good development shop, they normally follow agile methodology or Scrum or anything very flexible. So before, they just ask, what's your project? I say, oh, my project is this one. And they say, they estimate the cost. So normally they say, yeah, maybe that's gonna be 50,000. And then you're really scared. if I choose them, I have to spend $50,000. I don't screw up. I have to research more and more. But these days, this changed. They normally ask you, you will pay only what we deliver. So maybe every 2 weeks, or just if even some company they deliver a week base. So maybe 1 week or 2 weeks, you can get actual entire core they build, and then you can pay only that 2 weeks.
There are different types of kind of agreements when you work with outsourcing teams. I was wondering if you can share with the people what are some of the ways that you can work with them, and what do you think is kind of, what do we choose, and what do you think is the best way normally for startups?
Yeah, normally the first step to work with development shop will be estimation. So normally product owner ask how much will it cost, because every CEO care about money. So they trying to understand the project and then trying to estimate the project. But normally, from my experience, the reality, this is really hard to estimate in the right way, because not only because they trying to manipulate you or they overly estimate, because at the beginning you don't know exactly what you want. So even you don't know how they estimate the right cost. So my advice will be, one, if you can split, if you have one big project, you better split like 4 or 5 different pays or different development project, and then see how they react. And then second one is, these days there are many flexible cost system, like you can pay every week, or you can pay every sprint, like 2 weeks. You can pay a month, something like that. So you don't need to pay like a fixed amount. Whatever they do, and then you satisfied, that amount of work you can pay. So you'd better choose that kind of a flexible cost structure.
Yeah, I think some of the ones when we're interviewing different kind of dev shops out there, they offer kind of fixed price, like, all right, this is what you request, we'll build that with 50K, and that's it. But you can't really add any more changes, so that's additional cost. There's like time-based, what Leo's saying, kind of like, okay, every week this is how many hours we put, and that's how much you pay. And then there's kind of like milestone-based, where it's like, these are the things we promised to build, and once we build it, maybe within you pay that much, or a combination of both, where these are the milestones, and we hope to achieve that milestone within 2 weeks, and then we will get it done in 2 weeks. These are the things we'll get done, and that's when you pay us for that kind of stuff. So there are different types. I think, like we said, being able to be flexible, because there are certain things that as you learn more about your company or what's working and not working, you're able to kind of make changes along the way. And so to kind of sum up some of the things we're talking about, if you are looking for outsourced developers, be very clear on what you want to request. Very detailed what you want. I think better if you have someone that can review that's technical, but if not, you can show examples of what you want. You can go very detailed what it should do, and not just say like, I want it to be able to log in and be able to search for things. And then when you do look for them, do your research, compare. If something seems too good to be true, you might want to watch out. Talk to people who have used those companies before, get their referrals, talk to them, but also I think whether it's outsourced developers or hiring, it's good to work on small projects first. So before you put in all your money and put in a long-term relationship, test it out. Give them a small project and see if you guys fit together in terms of communication. See if they produce the work you like. Because sometimes it's not that they're bad at doing their stuff, it's just maybe not the same fit for you and what you're looking for. So having a small project and investing in that first to see it moving forward, I think is a good idea. We're happy to share even more of our experiences working with Outsource. Always happy to answer your questions, so feel free to send us a message, leave a comment. Otherwise, we will see you next time.
Okay,
bye.